Guys, welcome to the Cook and the Coach podcast.
I'm Kenny. I'm the cook.
I'm Baeza, I'm the coach. Welcome to the last episode for the shittiest year of our lives, 2020.
Come on.
A year for the books in many different ways. Um, yeah, guys, this is our 52nd episode. Um, it we're gonna get into more sentimental stuff about the podcast and the year and stuff. But first, we want to get into some segments for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start off with my coaching segment. Um, just gonna do a recap of what I'm going through with myself, my training, what's on the docket for the next foreseeable future. So, as you guys know, I did my competition a few weeks ago. Really great experience. Definitely left me hungry for more. Realized I had a lot more in the tank to give.
Mm.
So, I've been kind of taking it easy on the powerlifting. I actually haven't done any powerlifting stuff whatsoever the last 2 weeks. Just purely just doing like different fitness challenges and doing bodybuilding workouts. Just trying to stay in shape. Um, the last week or so, I've been focusing on doing a lot of volume work, a lot of hypertrophy, because that's gonna be what my first training block of my next training schedule is gonna look like. It's gonna be a lot of high volume work capacity, hypertrophy stuff especially with the powerlifting movements. So
Can you explain
yeah,
hypertrophy for people who aren't as familiar, including
yeah,
myself?
it's just basically just a lot of volume. So high sets and high reps.
Okay.
Just so the weight won't be as heavy. They'll just be you know, sets of 10, sets of 8, finishing with sets of 6. When I do my bodybuilding splits, it'll be lots of sets of 12, just lots of volume, not a ton of weight right now.
Right.
The heavier weight probably won't come until um, end of February, early March.
Mm.
I'm looking for a competition right around April, preferably a competition that will be a qualifier for the state meet later in like November-ish for
Okay.
Minnesota.
Sure.
So my tentative plan right now is to start powerlifting again within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Train until April, May-ish, then compete. Then I would take like a month, probably 2 months off from powerlifting completely and just do bodybuilding stuff. I got 2 weddings into June, so want to get in shape for that, get lean,
Yup.
get my abs popping. And then once that's over, and so like mid-July, once all that's over and did all my partying for the summer, mid-July, I will probably start back up with the powerlifting and then just train up until hopefully if I made it to state. If not, I just do a different competition around the same time.
Mm.
But yeah, then it'll be around November, and then yeah, and then we'll go from there. So
Dude,
it's my
love that.
tentative plan. One thing about my diet though that people have been asking me about, because you're like, Baeza, we know you're a big keto, intermittent fasting guy, but you haven't done that for the last while. What's happening with that? So I probably won't go keto again until, if I do go keto again, it wouldn't be again until after my first competition of next year. So that probably be June. I might do like a month and a half of keto. But I might just stick with carbs. I don't know. That'll be like I'll probably decide around then. But
Mm.
if I were to do it, it wouldn't be until then. Otherwise, I'm just staying with the carbs because I know I feel great on them as far as performing. Keto, I feel great just like, just going through everyday life and just working out on my own. But since
Yeah.
I'm trying to perform and like be a competitor, carbs are just the way to go.
Mm.
Now I'm still gonna be fasting every day because I love fasting. It just works better for my schedule. I just like the timing of it and how I feel with it. So I will be fasting, especially with like the first part of hypertrophy, probably close around 20 hours a day. When I get closer to competition, I'll probably narrow it down to 16 hours a day just to make sure that my body is being fed more properly. So,
Right.
oh yeah, that's a tentative plan right now.
That's so great. I love that you have that
Yeah,
all like kind of mapped out right now. That's really exciting.
yeah. I just need to find a meet for around April, and then after I find that meet and sign up, then everything will pretty much be set in stone for the next 5 months or so. So
All right. Hell yeah, dude. That's exciting. Yeah, dude. We got stuff. I think it's so important to like have stuff to look forward to. That's what I've been like really. We were talking like, oh, like COVID stuff, like how it like affects like how you interact with people and stuff. And it's been so exciting for me to be trying new things and be planning out like what I want to do with the new year. It feels like it's going to be like a nice reset. It's like so nice to have that type
Right.
of stuff to look forward to. So that's
For
cool.
sure, man.
Love
All
that.
right. What you got for cooking?
Dude, I have a book recommendation. So I got um y'all, if y'all are like really into cookbooks, you probably already know about this book, but I am so glad I got it. Um got it from my parents. Shout out my parents. It's called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by Samin
Oh, you told me
Nosrat.
about this one.
Yeah. So I've wanted to get this for a really long time. And yeah, my parents came through with such a sweet present. They basically in like this really big box, they put like this salt. Like how they have those little wooden bowls for salt. Like that was on the top of the box or like inside the first thing of the box. And then there was some olive oil, there was some vinegar, and there was a chili oil or something, in this little container. So it was like salt, fat, acid, heat. I was like, oh, thank you. That's really nice. But then underneath all that was this book, and I was like, oh, it all comes together. It was like a crossover present.
Nice.
Pretty nice. Yeah, dude. So it's really cool. I only just started reading it. I've been having it's just like look at it's such an aesthetically pleasing book. It's just so
It
lovely.
is very much
Um,
so.
but it just looks really great. It looks like exactly like what it's just like illustrated by this woman, Wendy McNaughton. And she has this really great like loose creative like style that's very storybooky and really cool. Like I don't even like I'll kind of put it up close to the camera, but just all these different ingredients are in there, and it's just sweet, man. Like basically the idea of the book is salt, fat, acid, and heat are the four essential components to cooking that if you really understand those four components, you can go in and just master cooking at a whole new level. And whether you're like someone who doesn't know shit about cooking or someone who's been cooking for a really long time, these are like really important basics to come back to. So basically it just essentially like the first half, I'm guessing, of the book talks about like salt, fat, acid, and heat and tells you the science about it and all these different really cool details. And then the second half, I guess, is more some recipes to try out and like ways to build a menu and such. So it may be a little bit more
Mhm.
practical in our day to day. Like I said, I've only just started reading it, but it's just even just this. So like the first page, or so like literally just the book is like that, like the cover. Then you open the cover, and before you even get to the first page, you have this really cool illustration of what your kitchen slash pantry might look like. So it's like illustrated, like an illustrated kitchen, numbered with each of the items in your kitchen that are essentials, like a wooden spoon or like baking sheets, or in your pantry, like chocolate or like spices, and everything's labeled, just looks really nice. And there's just really great illustrations. It's like, I love it so far. Like I said, I've only just started reading it. I'm currently in the salt section, but I've already learned so much. Like, something good that would be like fun to learn? Oh, like this might be obvious to people who know about more about cooking than me, but if you're developing a recipe with salt, like you should consider how you're measuring the salt. Are you doing it by like an amount, like a tablespoon, like that type of measurement, or are you doing it by weight? And the reason you might want to consider which way you're doing it, it kind of depends on what type of salt you're using, because different types of salt um, have different levels of saltiness depending on how they were gathered and like harvested or processed in a plant. So for example, I honestly don't have a ton of like great examples right off the bat. I guess an easy one would be like a kosher salt is real thick, and they're like larger. I don't want to say cylindrical pieces, but they're a lot bigger. Whereas something like a Malden salt, like a really flaky salt, like a type of salt that you would top something with, it's more of like a paper type structure. So I actually have like this a couple salt structures. If you're watching the video podcast, you can go to YouTube, the Cook and the Coach podcast, or Cook and Coach, and you can see this. But
Subscribe.
so if you're looking at that, so there's all these different types of salt structures that kind of come about based on when the moisture is introduced to the salt, how the salt is like gathered. And so basically, like think like a table salt. A table salt is like these super fine little grains of salt versus a kosher salt, which is way thicker and bigger. If you're doing a tablespoon of table salt or like a really fine salt, it actually might be saltier than a tablespoon of kosher salt because you're fitting in more salt into that tablespoon, which is weird. It's because technically there's more moisture in the kosher salt, or
Mhm.
or at least it developed with more moisture in it, so maybe it's not quite as dense. So just like little things like that. So she's recommending like get familiar with a couple different types of salt, and that's going to be like a really big determinant on how you like learn how to cook and season. And so basically it's just so helpful for me. Like remember that show on Food Network Baeza, Good Eats? Do you ever watch that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
like oh, that's right. Yeah, so Alton Brown, he was kind of like this food science nerd guy on Food Network. I talked about one of his books earlier in the year. It's what was it called? I have it. It's like it's not everything but the kitchen sink. It basically just breaks down all the science of the cooking. So it has all these like diagrams of molecules and heats, like how the heat is going through the air and stuff like that when it's cooking. So it's kind of like this book seems to be taking components of the science while also having a very storytelling, like home type feeling and so much like practical stuff. So anyways, right now it seems like this book is really hard to find. It's super popular. And again, if you're really into cooking books, you've probably heard about it. But so far, I'm only a few pages in, and I already love this book so much. So I would definitely recommend it. And if you get it, let me know something that you learned that you liked or that you really had no idea about, or something that's like changed how you're cooking. Like I would love to hear like that growth for you. It'd be really interesting. So, yeah, that's
This is
again
the same guy
salt, fat,
who
acid, heat.
made a Netflix series.
It's a woman, but yeah, she was
Oh yeah, one more.
yeah. So yeah, she started the Netflix show Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's decent. I can't really speak on it though, but yeah. So if anyone's familiar with that show, same person, based on the same thing. I believe the book came first, but yeah, dude,
Yeah,
would definitely check it out. Anyone who's interested, I really like it so far. It's very
there you
cozy.
go.
Dude, one of my favorite Christmas traditions, I usually like I just have a big family, so we'll do lists because it's hard to keep track of everything people want. I often request a book. One of my favorite Christmas traditions is like post present opening, just like sitting down, like nestling up and like reading my new book while like different groups of my family are doing different things around the house and maybe some Christmas music is playing, maybe some cocoa is being had. By the way,
Yeah,
I did the Baileys and coffee like I was talking about, and it was great. Loved it. A little bit of
I did
cocoa
that
in
Christmas
there.
morning. Ugh,
Yeah,
a little
dude.
bit of vanilla cream in there along with it.
Ooh, I should have done
Oh,
that.
dude. Oh my god, it was amazing. It was so smooth.
Dude, recommendation for anyone who loves going to Trader Joe's. They have this hot chocolate mix in these packets. It's pretty good. I usually just mix it with water. They also sell a sipping chocolate mix. And what I've been doing is I've been mixing the hot chocolate mix with a little bit of that sipping chocolate, and it's a win. It's like it adds this richness. Would recommend. It adds what the hot chocolate packet alone just doesn't quite bring to the table. If
Mm,
you're if you're still, because it's
best of
gonna be
both
snowing for
worlds.
a while. If treat yourself, you don't just need to have hot chocolate on Christmas Day, Christmas
It's the
morning.
holidays. Treat yourself.
Yeah, dog.
My dog. Should we get into what you're jamming?
Yeah, you want to go first or should I?
Yeah. So, what you jamming? So I've been, like I said before, I'm doing a lot more bodybuilding, hypertrophy stuff now. Before I get back into my powerlifting stuff. So a couple tracks we listened to in the gym that've been really fun to listen to and just get me hyped up and going crazy. Over Your Head by Future and Lil Uzi Vert.
Mm.
That's been a staple in the weight room so far. Same with Hit Boy with Big Sean. It's called Salute. A pretty good track right there. Short track, but it's like quick and gets your head bobbing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Post Malone's new artist, Tyla Yahweh. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff like over the last few months. He had a really big song with Post Malone like 3 months ago. That was like super, super huge. He has a new song out with Gunna and Wiz Khalifa called All the Smoke. It came out like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And that's been like the number one song on my playlist the last 2 weeks. Like that's been like nonstop. Like when
Okay.
I'm driving the car, when I'm in the weight room, like doesn't matter, whatever. That's just the song that's always, always, always playing.
All the Smoke.
All the smoke.
Okay. I'm gonna
And then of
listen to that one.
course, I think I mentioned it last time I watched you jamming, but DJ Earworm, his 2020 mix for the year. That's
Yes.
always it's end of the year, so you gotta play that. That's my tradition. Is always playing the Earworm song of the year, just listening to all the songs from the past year and just enjoying
That's
that. So
nice. That's nice. Yeah,
yeah.
because it's funny, man. Like it's this year is a great example of just how slow and how fast a year can feel. You know, I honestly
Hmm.
don't think this year feels fast. Well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it felt like it took forever, but you forget how much stuff happened in it. You know, so I like that when you can be like, wow, oh yeah, that song came out. Yeah, I guess technically that was January, February. Yeah, that like it's been so
Yeah.
much good shit.
It's kind of fun to like look back and like see like all stuff you like you forgot about, but you like there was such a big part of your life at the same time.
Dude, yeah, those are good. I'm definitely gonna listen to the All the Smoke song. I'm really curious about that one.
That's why I love like music because it's like in a way music is like an auditory like time capsule.
Yeah.
So you could hear a song from like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, like take you back to like a very specific moment in time.
Mm,
That's what things I love about music the most is like the memory aspect of it.
yeah, that is really nice. That's nice. Um, let's see. What do I have for this? What you jamming? Um, well, one song. So Ed Sheeran came out with the song. It's not
Mm.
good. It's not his first single off of his what I think is going to be his final studio album. It's just this one-off song called Afterglow. Really
No,
like
it
it.
is. It's the
He,
first single of his new album.
I, I read something on YouTube that he was saying it wasn't.
He said it was.
Really?
On Instagram, on social media. Yeah, he said it was on Instagram.
Okay, hold on, because I literally thought I saw that it said the
Wait,
opposite.
let's go to Ed Sheeran's page. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
let's get to the bottom of this.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. At Teddy's photos. Oh, it is. You're right, Ken. So he said it's not the the next single
Okay,
of his new album.
okay,
It is.
cool,
It
cool,
is a
cool.
one-off track.
It really, if people weren't a big fan of his big collaboration album, like the number six collaborations, this song really feels like it goes back to Ed Sheeran's bread and butter, which is very singer songwritery, just a guy and his guitar,
Hmm.
a lot of great harmonies, good like lyrics. I liked it a lot. I thought that the way that he stacked the vocals was really interesting because like the
I really enjoyed it.
it gets like it's all I can't tell if he stacked more vocals as the song progresses because there's this like really rich like bass and like heavy lower harmonies that just build in your especially if you're listening on headphones. I don't know how he achieved that, but I really liked that song. But really though, my main what you jamming for this week is is just the Spotify this is Gary Clark Jr. playlist. I I first heard of Gary Clark Jr. He had this cameo in the Chef movie that John Favreau directed. It's basically they're going around the country in a food truck and they're in Texas at one point and Gary Clark Jr. is playing. And I believe a song or two of his is in like the soundtrack that I really like. And anyway, that's I think it's when the train stops or when the train rolls in or something. Anyways, it's a really good song. But since then, like I was like, oh yeah, he's like a really great guitarist, but I wasn't super into his music. Then I listened to this playlist and I literally added 18 of his songs to my playlist. Like it was so good. Like Bright Lights, Catfish Blues, Breakdown, Can't Sleep, Gotta Get Into Something. Like just so many, and there were a couple where he was featured on it. But man, and those were just like the more feel good, more upbeat type songs. Like I kind of just I wasn't really in the mood for the more like sad or somber type stuff. But it was
Sure.
like a really good range, and yeah, man, really I think I'm like a fan of his now officially. But yeah, like check out Gary Clark Jr. if you haven't. It's from what I've heard of him, he's like one of the great guitarists alive right now, and he's like a blues rock musician, I think, at
Oh, I'm
least
gonna write
based
that
in
down.
Texas.
Gary
Um,
Clark Jr.
Gary Clark Jr. Yeah. Joe Rogan talks about him a lot. I think he's in Austin or in Texas. But I mean, generally, I don't gravitate towards a lot of like rock, but I was in the mood for it. It was really good. Really liked it. So,
Nice.
yeah, dude, would recommend. It was really solid. Dude, this is our 52nd episode. I'm very proud that we got so many episodes in this year, dude. Like
I am too.
how Schultz was talking about like and when the pandemic was getting freaky and he was just like you're in creative jail. This is your time to create. Like I'm very happy that we were able to do that. It's been
Yeah,
really fun.
same. And like as you guys will see, we're gonna level up next year with lots of different things to the
Yeah.
podcast. But like the fact that we said we're gonna start a podcast and then a pandemic hit and we
Yeah.
still continue the podcast, like the fact that we just didn't like stop it,
Yeah.
like I'm really proud of both of us for like continuing on with the show. And like a lot of people actually like now we don't have a lot of listeners, but like people who do listen like really enjoy it and just tell me, hey, I enjoyed listening to the episode, or
Yeah.
I enjoyed the segment you did. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad we continued on with this
Yeah, it's
throughout the
fun. And I
years.
feel like we've gotten better at it and we've had like different ideas and we've experimented with different formats and like you were saying, like literally like ways of recording it and just trying to make it better. And yeah, I'm really excited for everybody to see some of the changes we have in store. We just want to make it like we want to just continue making it more enjoyable to listen to, like, and to find and just experience. If you're finding a clip on social media or if you're watching it on YouTube or if you're just listening on Spotify or any like streaming service, like we just want it to just keep getting better and like more fun and enjoyable and like funny and have interesting people on to talk with. So yeah, I mean, we're going to be taking a short break. So after the new year, we're going to be kind of hunkering down and making some changes and planning out some episodes and stuff. And if y'all have any ideas, like, I really like the show, but honestly, if there's something that I would change, like I'm not really a fan of this, or I would do more of this, or visually I would want to see something like this. Like honestly, we'd really like feedback. We'd love to know like what you guys are thinking. Like, we definitely have some
Absolutely.
ideas, but if we hear a lot of feedback where it's like we want the opposite of what you guys were thinking, like, oh great, well that's really helpful. um so yeah, it's always fun when we hear people like listen to it and like had a good laugh and stuff. So thanks so much for everybody who listened this year. And yeah, if you can DM us on Instagram, you can leave us comments. And again, you can either DM like the show Instagram page or either me or Baez on Instagram. And yeah, always open to like ways to improve the show and make it better. So I'm excited. It'll be good to like reset a little bit and like step back into it.
Yeah. And yeah, so for people who are like in January learning like why are there episodes uploaded? What happened to you guys? Don't worry, we're not going away.
Yeah.
We're just taking a break. We'll be back. We'll be back and we'll
Yeah,
be
for sure.
when we come back, you guys will see why we took a break. You'll see why.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
It'll be exciting.
but yeah, like Ken was saying, like thank you so much to everyone who has listened. And even if you just listen to like parts of episodes, whatever, we appreciate you guys just tuning in for however long you do.
Yeah.
Um I mean, yeah, I mean, for everyone who has liked the episode on YouTube, or if you give us a follow on Instagram, we appreciate all every bit of support you guys are giving us. And we look forward to 2021 and creating more memories. So
Even
yeah.
we even love our one hater that we got. Remember on YouTube? Who was our hater?
Yeah. I forget his name.
Let's look it
I
up.
can go find it.
My
What
phone's at 1%. If it's meant to be, I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Let's see.
which episode was it?
It was is Kanye crazy or genius? Uh I think this person changed their YouTube handle, but now it says J Dogsful. I don't think that's what it was before.
No, I don't think
but
so.
shout out to you, J Dogsful on YouTube. We appreciate that too. He was so mad. Oh, so
He
funny.
was though. He
Oh
was livid.
man. Oh, he was so angry. Gosh. By the way, totally unrelated, but I'm
Mm.
by the time we're back recording again, this will have been decided, I'm sure, but I'm really fingers crossed. I'm hoping we get that $2,000 stimulus check. That would be nice.
Well, as to pass the house next.
It passed the House. It has to pass the Senate next.
Oh yeah, sorry, it has the best saying no,
We'll see.
but I'm skeptical about that.
It might not. It might
But hey,
not.
if we don't, at least we're getting $600. So
Hooray! Yeah.
at least we'll be coming empty-handed out of the stimulus check situation. At least we get
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Not much, but something.
I hope something will happen. I feel like it's the whole pressure of the end of the year. Like you don't want to end the year on being the guy that didn't sign the stimulus check. People have so long to stew over that. That's why I'm like low key happy that they've just all the politicians have just been like, no, you sign it. No, you do it. No, you do it. Cause then it's, if it turns out that we just get more money and everyone gets more support, it's like, sometimes it's just like, oh, you guys are just doing your political game dance and just pushing it out as far as you can. I'm not happy about that, but if I get more money and people get more help, I'll take it, I guess. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. So
Yeah.
and yeah, either way, we're getting a stimulus check, but I don't know. At this point, I don't really care. It's just, hey, whatever you guys do, I can't control it. So you guys can do what you're gonna do. So
Hell yeah. Not worrying about shit we can't control. That's gonna be something I'm leaning into this year in the new year.
same. That you and me were talking before, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely my approach to 2021. So
absolutely.
um, but we're also be leaning hard into this podcast in 2021. We
Oh
want to
yeah.
make this the best show possible.
Yeah.
We want to have as much fun with it as possible.
Yeah. And by the
Yeah,
way, so we're going to be going, so we've been mentioning at the end of these shows, oh, we're on TikTok now, like at Cook and Coach, on our Instagram at Cook and Coach Pod, where Baeza's been putting together clips of some of our favorite moments from the show. If you like them, if you think they're funny, it's really helpful if you share them. We'll have different versions of the clips ultimately, you know, like whether it's like an Instagram reel or Instagram TV, like we're going to be experimenting with what we like and what works best. But yeah, if you like it, like DM it to someone that you think would laugh at it. If you don't want to share it to your story, or give it a like, or, you know, anything like that. It's a great way for us to like, um, just honestly, it's like if we have something that we think is really funny, it'd be great for as many people who would think it's funny to see it as like as possible, you know. If you don't think it's funny,
absolutely.
that's totally fine. I'm not interested in being in the feed of someone who doesn't care about our show. But if you think it's funny, or if you think someone else might think it's funny, like by all means let them know. Like it could be fun. So yeah. And again, like what Baez was saying too, if you just watch for the clips, like that's fine. Maybe like at some point you'll watch the show, or vice versa. Like all good. Just any feedback, any support that you're interested in giving, like we appreciate it. So thanks again to all of
One
y'all.
thousand percent.
Yeah.
Guys, Instagram at Cook and Coach Pod, TikTok Cook and Coach, YouTube. Just go to the Cook and the Coach, subscribe, like, um, give a listen, give a follow. Yeah, like we were saying before, this isn't a goodbye. This is we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
And you again, you'll see why we took a break when we come back. So we're
Totally.
really excited to continue on with the show and making it the best show possible and just having the most fun with it. You know, we want to have that's the most thing. I mean, the
Totally.
day that me and Ken don't have fun with this anymore, we're gonna stop. So
Right.
we're having fun with it, and we're gonna keep on going. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
And you can follow.
Baeza.
Yep. So sorry, I cut you off. But yeah, for
No, no,
Baeza, your social.
yeah, Baeza, Baeza, on Instagram. Kenny's got EP cooking page. Want to give him that, Ken?
Yeah, so on Instagram at KPMartin2. In my bio, I have links to at Haymarket Catering, which is my food page. And then I also have links to my EP, which is Bucket List by Kenny Martin. Most places that music is streaming, you can find it there. And yeah, check it out. Again, yeah, you can leave us likes and comments, and we appreciate all of it. So thanks so much, y'all.
Guys, that's been the last episode of The Cook and the Coach for 2020. Thanks for having us throughout the year, and we will see you next year.
Peace. All right. Nice.